As usual on Liquid Lunch, we have a beautiful spread of foods and delicacies, and we have the Question Tequilas with us, as always, in the Question Studios, and the Ponzoni Organic Vodka, imported straight from Italy. And Bobby Vance provided us today with an unbelievable spread. And we have an unbelievable guest joining us today. It's Erin Sykes. Erin,
Hi.
Thanks for joining us on Liquid Lunch.
Thanks for having me.
And Frank, of course, my co-host and managing editor, joins us again. You're like a brand in yourself when it comes to retailing and consumers and selling and marketing. You do it all. QVC, name it. As a woman, we have on Wednesdays we do Women Wednesdays.
Okay.
And all the guests on the show are women, entrepreneurs, women in politics, women in philanthropy, women in business, of course. As a woman, is it getting easier to display your greatness fairly?
I absolutely think so. Now, I think that there's, of course, a balance between being a female and being in your female power, and then not trying to be a man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to enter a man's world. I'm trying to create my own world as a female and still take all of those values and qualities with me. So
That's fantastic. And you've done better than most males I know, I would
thank
say.
you.
And we're always trying to market Liquid Lunch. We're a new show. Joking around about starting a lunchroom where we would, people who watch and entrepreneurs and small business owners who want to sell stuff, and maybe they put their products in our lunchroom, and then if we have our own lunch money, they can get some discounts for buying that stuff.
Love that.
Do you think you could maybe give a little bit of your expertise to Frank and I and the team, and helping us understand the e-commerce and consumer space, because you're great at it?
Sure. Well, so omnichannel is the big buzzword
Yes,
these
right.
days, right? So it's about connecting your in-store experience or in-person experience with what's going on online. And that's not just having a retail store and then plopping up a website. It's a lot bigger than that.
Brick and click.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to have a reason for being in the actual retail location. You have to have some type of maybe Instagrammable moment, or is it a fit stylist, getting fit for a suit? Is it something with artificial intelligence? Is it how you're tracking the customers in store versus all the analytics that you can gather online? So it's really merging those two worlds, and you're going to see really the wheat separate from the chaff in the coming months, because this is not a retail apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is just a shift in retail. So Walmart's doing it great. Amazon's obviously.
Well, Walmart bought Jet
Yes.
to
yes.
get good at the online side, right?
Yes.
Walmart had the brick.
They had the brick.
But sometimes people want to go lay on the couch and check it out in the store and then think about it and go home, and they didn't have the click.
Exactly.
They had it, but they didn't have the logistics in place. I think Jet really brought that, and they're doing Walmart. You talked about it on the Joe Piscopo show and others. Walmart's doing a lot more now.
Absolutely. Yeah, Walmart obviously has gotten a lot of attention because they do a lot of business in China and get so many of their products from China. We're hearing so much about the tariffs with respect to China. What sort of an impact has that had on the economy overall? I saw one piece in the New York Times today that said they estimate between lost productivity and increased costs that it's costing the average household $414. Is it time for people to start panicking?
I'm not a panic person. I think a lot of times the media gets people all riled up, and we create problems that don't even exist yet. So of course the tariffs are going to have an impact on us. Right now it's more automotive, it's more in furniture. It hasn't really hit clothing, accessories, shoes, that type of thing yet. If it does, it can definitely have a huge impact. Where it's going to really hit would be private label. So in Kohl's, in Target, you have a lot of these cheaper brands that create private label specifically for the distribution in those retailers. So Massimo is a great example. They distribute in Target. It's a private label brand. It's not distributed anywhere else. It's created, manufactured in China.
Yeah, right.
So that's where we're really going to see the hit in terms of traditional retail, also in luxury, because luxury consumer, 33% come from China. And then you have another 20% that come from the Americas, and even less that come from Europe. So we have some siphoning of areas where it will be more impactful, but I think it's important to have that brick and click, and I think it's important to have a cash reserve right now and be able to carry through the next 6 months.
I kind of look at this stuff and look more macro. I've been on Wall Street for years, and people go, the market's down 500. Market's up 17 as we speak, right around 25,000 and change. Bitcoin's just about to bust through 9,000. But I always tell people, take like a larger view. Don't like one bad day, step back, relax, take a week off, namaste. I always say,
Exactly.
you're investing for the long term. When I look at the macro and I hear, well, this is going to cost $700 a year to a consumer, and I start thinking, well, we're out there spending money every day, so that's like $60 a month. And then we're spending money here, there, everywhere. It's like $2 a day.
Exactly.
And maybe my cousin or my neighbor or someone else is going to get a U.S. job because of the tariffs and creating that equality. And I'd rather pay $2 a day to see more Americans get jobs and more products come out, say, made in the USA and made in America. So when they knock Trump on the tariffs, I always say by the numbers, right? It all comes down to the numbers.
He's fighting
you can tell
the
me
good fight,
all this hype, all this horror, all this disdain. Just go to the numbers. At $800, it's about $2 a day. And the collateral damage of that is more Americans get jobs, more things are manufactured in America. I think everybody put in a couple bucks a day for that.
Absolutely. I mean, right now we are so employed. We are so overemployed. People, have their pick of jobs. They maybe want to carry 2 jobs. They can afford a short-term tariff, right? And I think that the long-term, like you mentioned, that macro view, making sure that we continue to be a strong internal economy, not so much a globalist economy, but really strong here, that will build the foundation for us to be able to not have to source as much from China.
Agreed.
Erin, we've all seen you on QVC and all over the place, but we all remember when QVC and the Home Shopping Network came out, how that was sort of the first of its kind, and nobody had ever seen anything like that on television or in retail. In an internet era where you can see these ads on your Facebook feed, think, oh, I might want to buy that, click it and buy it there. Why is there still a need and there's still a place for entities like QVC?
Well, Amazon actually tried to be QVC a few years ago, and they had a live stream show, and it flopped. So what's amazing is that QVC is still here and it's relevant, and that's because they have such a strong built-in consumer base. Where I'm concerned is if they're going to really be able to tap into that millennial audience, because it definitely is a X generation type of consumer, mostly women, not so much
I'm telling
men.
you, to me, the QVC and the HSN, it's like for women over 50, in my view, it's like Fortnite for my son. Right? They're attached to the TV.
Yes.
What's the next thing? The bells, the whistles. Oh, the next trend. And then all of a sudden, I see the houses on my block, even family members. The boxes are every day coming. Because they just, you're up even at night, you're bored. Whoa,
Absolutely.
What is this?
I was at a
Set it
funeral
and forget
yesterday,
it.
and people are talking about what they ordered on QVC at the funeral, and it's just like, it is a true addiction. Now, it's just next step, tapping into that younger audience, and really using OTT streaming. Are they going to partner with Amazon, maybe Hulu? I think that that's where they need to move, so we'll see if it happens.